On this slushy, snowy February day, after the groundhog has informed me that there will indeed be 6 more weeks of winter, I find myself moving more slowly. I find myself searching and seeking for goodness. And I find myself holding dear to my heart the words of Anne Frank, who wrote, "In spite of everything, I still believe that people are really good at heart. I simply can't build up my hopes on a foundation consisting of confusion and misery. I see the world gradually being turned into a wilderness. I can feel the sufferings of millions, and yet, if I look up into the heavens, I think that it will all come right. That this cruelty too will end, and that peace and tranquility will return again." I'm searching and seeking for goodness in the world, and I'm searching and seeking for the winter of my heart to melt away to spring awakening again. And as I do, I celebrate Candlemas. On February 2nd, it was the official ending of the Christmas season, a day to light candles in your home, to bring your candles to be blessed at the church. It was a time to remember the light of Christ that we received at Christmas time, and that light is still out in the world. And so I use this time to replenish my supply of candles. I've been running low lately, but this time around, I decided to make some bayberry candles. Bayberry wax was very popular in colonial times and often lit on Christmas Eve or New Year's Eve for good luck. The bayberry wax was very expensive, and so it was reserved for church services, as the candles burned so cleanly and with a heavenly smell. It's the perfect time to work outdoors, as any wax that spills, it's okay if it spills on this old table. But it's not just Candlemas that I'm celebrating. I'm observing St. Brigid's Day, the saint of Ireland, who said if you hang scarves or ribbons outside, that the saint will pass by during the night and bless them. And then you can use those scarves and ribbon for healing. And we all need more healing in our lives, healing of our bodies, our soul, and our spirits. What is the healing you need this very day? Let's take a moment to lift to God our prayers. And as we wait for my candles to set, I invite you to sit with me here in the woods and listen to St. Bridget's list of things she wanted from God. I would like the angels of heaven to be among us. I would like an abundance of peace. I would like full vessels of charity. I would like rich treasures of mercy. I would like cheerfulness to preside over all. I would like Jesus to be present always. Yes, I'm searching and seeking for goodness, and even on the days when candles get stuck in the mold, I realize that 4 out of 6 bayberry candles are plenty enough to light my world with hope, love, and peace in the days to come. Well, welcome my friends to Old Stonewell Farm, and yes, I do have wax on my dress. It's one of the dangers of loving to live in this time period and having just beeswax candles everywhere. They do drip, and they often drip onto my clothing. So if any of you know how to get wax out of clothing, I would really appreciate your tips. I am, though, busy setting up the candles here because there's a story that I'm going to share with you in just a few minutes about 4 candles. And I found this story very meaningful to me, and I hope that my sharing it with you, that I bless your day in just a little way. But before we get to this story, I don't know about you, but I was so glad to turn the calendar page to February, because January, quite frankly, has been a very, very long month. It just seems like it was just going to go on forever, and every day I would wake up to more tough news, sadness in the headlines. We hold those who have lost their homes to the fires out west in our prayers. We hold those that continue to rebuild from the hurricanes down in North Carolina in our prayers. And of course, to those families and friends that were lost in the airplane crash. I am a big figure skating fan, and I did watch the competition in Wichita, Kansas, just a few days before the crash. So this time together is basically me just wanting to check in with all of you to let you know that while the days seem to be long and trying, that tomorrow is always a new day, and that we continue to trust that new day in God's loving hands. As I said, I was very happy to turn the calendar page to February. The weather is starting to get a little bit warmer. We did have a cold snap the other day in which temperatures were -0. And wouldn't you know it, that was the morning that we lost power. So we had about 2 or 3 hours of very chilly temperatures inside the house. The dog loved it because the dog loves it to be cold. If it's anything like 32 degrees, he starts panting. So I am happy that February brings with it the promise, closer to that promise of spring. And we had a celebration of Candlemas, in which I shared with you the tradition of making candles and having them blessed at the church, and then storing them away, as I did with the bayberry candles, for next holiday season. And February 2nd is also that halfway mark. We made it halfway through winter, and we are closer to spring. I used to have snowdrops growing in my yard here in Vermont, and I haven't seen them recently. I wonder if the chickens ate them over the years. And of course, it's just too early for snowdrops to appear, but in England and Ireland, snowdrops do start appearing now. The snowdrops, I hope, will appear later on in a few weeks, but still, the sun is getting a little bit warmer. I appreciate that February brings to us not only the halfway point until we get to spring, but these holidays that are not fully observed anymore. In Candlemas, very few people realized that that was the official end of Christmas. And then you have St. Bridget's Day. For me, these holidays are a reminder once again to slow down and to not only appreciate the day that the Lord has made and given to us, but to really slow down and find something special to celebrate. Find something to have an excuse to have a special meal, to do something fun, like I went out into the woods to tie scarves to a tree for St. Bridget's Eve. Holidays are holy days. And the more I think about that term, holy days, where I am right now, I want to try to wake up every morning and embrace each day, even your typical mundane day, as a holy day, as a holiday, as a time to find something to rejoice in, find something to celebrate, have an excuse to make a special meal, have an excuse to do something out of the ordinary that brings peace to your heart or joy to your soul. Yes, I was happy that I turned the calendar page to February. The start of a new month always seems to bring to me a sense of hope, that once again, here we go. I have another opportunity to enter into each day with a smile on my face, and knowing no matter what might go wrong that day, or what problems I might face, what difficulties or what trials, there is always something to smile about. Henry Nouwen, the Catholic priest, once said that hope should always live on. Hope should never fade away. And that hope means to really live with trust in God. And for him, that hope sounded like humming in the darkness. Humming in the darkness is a good thing, but I rather belt out the most incredible song of praise in the darkness. A praise to my God, who is always shining light on our path. A praise to my God, no matter how dark the days get, that God is still God, and that love can be seen, and that love is still out there. I know it was a little bit silly, but when I saw the backside of my chicken and it looked like a heart, a fuzzy little heart, I just had to share it with you. And I want to know, am I the only one who saw a heart there? I'm searching and seeking for goodness. And I think a lot of you are doing the same. So why don't we search and seek together? This is going to be a short visit together. I didn't want to go too long without having you come to the old farm table and sit with me, because life is always busy for me and I need to really work on priorities and starting to let go of a few things. But stay tuned. I'll fill you in with what I'm thinking. So I didn't want to delay in being with you. And once I heard this story that is often shared at the celebration of Candlemas, which was February 2nd, lighting up the candles to represent the presentation of Jesus in the temple, when Anna and Simeon, two elderly people, were in the temple and they saw the light of Christ. That is why we light the candles, to remind us that that light is still out there in the world, burning brightly. So get cozy and lean in. Perhaps you want to hit pause and get yourself some hot cocoa, coffee, or tea, and then come back. And it's time for the Candlemas story. There once was 4 candles burning brightly, filling the room with warmth and a beautiful glow, a glow that was heavenly. But the first candle to speak was the candle of peace, and it was having a hard time staying lit. For it said, I am fearing that I don't believe that peace is possible anymore. It seems like nobody wants to have peace. It seems like everybody just wants to fight. I don't think that I could continue burning anymore when nobody is really seeking my light. And then slowly, the peace light gave up and went out. The peace candle's friend, Faith, was having a hard time as well, staying lit. Like peace, Faith wasn't sure that people really wanted her anymore. Faith wasn't sure that people really had room for that light in their life. Faith wondered if she had become irrelevant, as no one seemed to want to cling to a faith, that belief in things that you cannot see, but yet you still hold on to. And so Faith looked over at peace, now cold and not warm with light anymore. And Faith shed a tear and said, I will join you, peace, for nobody wants me anymore. And Faith's light went out. Love didn't know what to do. Love wanted to shed a tear that peace and Faith had given up. But love had to be honest and admit that she too was struggling. And so love said, I just don't know anymore if I can continue. All I see is hate in the world. And it's getting very hard for my flame to light the way to a better way. And slowly the flame flickered until it too went out. Just then, a little child came into the room. And when the little child saw that peace and faith and love were no longer burning, the child began to cry. And the child shouted, What happened? You had to continue to burn. Why did you give up? The child cried and mourned for the lost light of peace and faith and love. The one candle that was left burning, the candle of hope, said to the child, My child, stop crying, for my flame still burns. The flame of hope will never ever go out. And the child said to the hope flame, Well, what good is that if you're the only flame burning? And hope said to the little child, Come and watch what I'm going to do. And then hope went over to the peace candle. And from the light of hope, peace became possible again. The hope candle then shared its flame with faith, and it too began to burn. Then the hope candle went over to love and rekindled that flame. And then the hope candle turned to the child and said, With hope, the flame of peace and faith and love will never go out. With the flame of hope, it is possible to keep on believing, to keep on living, and may I add, to keep on smiling and finding the joy in each and every day, and finding always something to give thanks to God for, and finding something to celebrate, even on the most mundane, typical day. Celebrate, for you are here in this world, and your light is still shining. With the flame of hope, all things are possible. So my friends, I hope you enjoyed that story. I'm so glad that I got to share it with you. And we will be back, I hope, sooner rather than later. But for now, you are in my prayers. And I want you all, even though I can't see your faces, I want you all right now to give me the biggest smile and to join me in saying, God, I believe in better tomorrows. Until next time, God bless.